The city of Houston, Texas is facing massive cuts to their Section 8 program, and they kicked 16,000 people, the majority of the people on the waiting list, off. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have quite the interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of Houston, Texas, and it has to do with the Section 8 waiting list. Now, obviously, a city the size of Houston, which I believe has a population of more than 2 million people, like it's the fourth largest U.S. city in the the fourth largest city in the United States, okay? So it's a very large city, yet they have tens of thousands of people on their Section 8 waiting list waiting to get a voucher. You know, I've always wondered about the whole wait list thing with the voucher, and I've mentioned this before. If you are waiting around for, like, let's say 5, 10 years to get a Section 8 voucher, what the heck is going on with you? Okay? What is going on? Because that doesn't make any sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense that you could be on a wait list for a voucher for 5 or 10 years. Okay, where are you living that whole time? If you need the government to pay for your housing, how are you able to survive for the 5 to 10 years you're on this wait list to get the voucher? Okay, basically, what you're telling me is if you're able to live at all while on this wait list, you don't need the voucher. That's what you're telling me. Okay, like I said many times before, I believe the whole program is filled with waste, fraud, and abuse. And I honestly don't mind at all the proposed cuts to it. So a lot of the proposed cuts, they will hurt landlords. Absolutely. Okay. Imagine suddenly the number of Section 8 tenants that you have being cut in half. All those landlords who are dependent on these tenants for their living, who don't rent to market rate tenants, well, they're going to be struggling. And I think that some of them will be able to adapt. I think some of them will go bankrupt, because they will find that the market rate tenants aren't paying those Section 8, dollars. They're not paying the same amount of rent that a Section 8 tenant would. Now, I know there's lots of landlords out there who their whole business relies on this. I would never wish a landlord to fail, but I will say this, right? If you're a small mom and pop landlord, the best thing that you can do is not be reliant on Section 8. Like let's say you own one house and you have a Section 8 tenant in there right now, just make sure that your house is still marketable as a place that you can rent to regular tenants. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So first of all, if you are a landlord and you are renting to Section 8 tenants right now, are you afraid of these cuts that are proposed? As of right now, they are just proposed. There's a good chance they won't pass. I mean, there's a lot of opposition to it. So I wouldn't be surprised either way. I want to see them pass because I believe that overall it will be better for the market. And it will be better for the people, to actually motivate them to go out and work. But there's a good likelihood it won't happen. But are you afraid of these cuts? And if you are, go ahead and put a comment down below. Anyway, let's get into this article and we'll talk about Houston a little bit. This article is coming from HoustonPublicMedia.org, and it says, nearly 17,000 people withdrawn from housing voucher waitlist after Houston Housing Authority update. Of more than 18,000 people who were on the wait list earlier this year, fewer than 2,000 remain. The reduction came after an update to the wait list that required applicants to respond. So looks like they sent an update out to all the people on the wait list and said, hey, if you don't respond, we're going to cut your name off of this list. That's a really good way to get rid of a lot of the people on the list who don't really need it. Okay. And the result was they had over 18,000 applicants and the grand majority of people got cut. Okay. More than 16,000 people got cut off of that list. Now, the people who are left on there, I'm not saying they need Section 8 either, but at least it whittled down, because like I said, there are so many people on that list who can pay their own rent, who are paying their own rent just fine. And yet they want the government to pay it for them. I mean, why wouldn't you, Anyway, let me read what the article says. About 16,600 people lost their place on the Houston Housing Authority's Housing Choice Voucher waitlist after failing to update their information in May and June, leaving less than 2,000 applicants in line for a federal benefit that pays a significant portion of rent for very low-income households. The program requires residents to allocate 30 to 40% of their income toward rent, while HHA covers the difference. The years-long wait list for the sought-after program last opened in 2016 when about 30,000 applicants joined the line. So 30,000 people got in line for Section 8 back in 2016. It's 2025 right now when I'm recording this video. So 9 years later, out of those 30,000 people, there were still approximately 18,000 people left. So 12,000 people either dropped their names from consideration or were actually given a voucher in the last 9 years. That is very, very slow. So, to me, here's the thing, right? If your name was still on that list from 2016, if your name was still on the wait list from 2016 and for the last 9 years, you've been able to live your life, have children, have grandchildren, work multiple different jobs, never homeless. What do you need a voucher for? Okay? Why are you on the wait list? They should have cut every single person. They shouldn't even have a wait list, okay? Because honestly, if you don't have vouchers to give out, there's no point in having a wait list. You open up the list when you have the vouchers to give out. And, well, if they're going to have the vouchers, let's put the rules in place that they're proposing, work requirement, 2-year limitation, etc. I mean, we have to put these limits into place. Otherwise, we get people who, like in previous videos I've made, have lived on Section 8 for 10, 20, 30 years. Okay? They don't go get a better paying job because they would lose their voucher if they did. Some of them will be making more money, find out they got approved for the voucher, and then quit their job. Why? Because now the government's covering my bills for me. Ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. The whole thing is a scam, and the worst part is, right? And this is the worst part to me. I've personally known people, acquaintances who have scammed the system. Not people who are my friends, because obviously I would never support such a thing, and I wouldn't want to be friends with somebody who is abusing the system such as this, right? But people I've known, like a friend of a friend, who have abused the system in such a way, who've been very candid about what they're doing, just saying, hey, I am not going to go get another job. And when they start making too much money, they'll quit jobs. They'll, in the world where you have to take care of yourself, where you have to, take care of your family on your own, you just can't quit jobs willy-nilly because, somebody looked at you funny or, there was something there you didn't like. No, you have to pay your bills. You have to support your family. So you can't quit your job willy-nilly. You have to keep working, even at a job that you may hate. And the end result is that you're able to support yourself, that you learn responsibility, and that things are better overall in the long run. As your children see you working full time, that puts work ethic into them, and they grow up to become productive, successful people. But when they don't see your mom and dad working full time, when they see their mom and dad dependent on the government, do you know what they do? They say, well, I shouldn't have to work either. I just want to sit around the house and play on my cell phone and play video games and do nothing. And this is where we have a whole segment of society who just doesn't do anything. They don't do anything. And what is the end result? We see crime rise, we see drug use rise, and people with huge problems. So yeah, work is the basis of stability. Work is the basis of a strong, successful community and country. So yeah, I want people off of these government welfare programs. I want our country to be stronger. I believe this is the correct thing that we should be doing. I'm sick of reading this articles about these people on these wait lists. And you know what? I don't care if they all got cut off. I don't care if 9 years ago when you put your name on that wait list, you actually needed Section 8, and now you're trying to still get it. That's stupid. Anyway, let me know what you think of this whole situation, okay? Do you think that it's fair that Houston cut all those people off of the Section 8 wait list? Put a comment in the comment section down below.